Yeet.
My drink is mostly vodka.
You thought we were done? Well, bitch, we're back.
Okay.
I forgot how we started this one.
Episode 1.
Y'all got to do that again. I got it.
I got it. This is Half Baked with Misunderstood
And Stoner Ex-Girlfriend.
and Carter Garnett.
It's a last name. Okay, cool. So
our first episode is gonna be called
Poppin' That Cherry. Poppin' That Cherry. Poppin' That Cherry. Because this is our first podcast and it's your first time watching our first podcast. So we're gonna talk about all the first times we ever did something for the first time. Because this is your first time, so we're popping yo cherry. Cool. Alright.
Okay, we're gonna pop this cherry when we get started. So, Ken, when was the first time, or what happened during the first time you ever getting high?
Just like in general,
Smoking weed.
First time I ever smoked weed, I ripped a bong in a car. Yeah, first time ever. I didn't really know how to work the bong. I was like, you pull it out, like you suck it, you put your mouth over it, like what are you doing?
I hated trying to figure out bongs as a newbie.
And I was like really scared to use a bong for like a really long time. But then it was in somebody's car. I'd previously eaten some Taco BZ and I ripped that hoe. It was the bong rip heard around the world and I barfed everywhere in the car. So, yeah. And what about you?
First time me smoking weed would be, I feel so nerdy saying that. First time me smoking weed. First time and only time. First time I ever smoked was on Thanksgiving with my brother and sister. And you know how everybody says they're gonna go on a little walk with their cousin and stuff. Well, I went on a walk with my brother and sister to his house and we smoked a lot. And I got so high I couldn't handle myself. And I had to stay at my brother's house because my parents would have caught me. But I really want to know when the first time can you go?
Okay, so me and my homegirl were chilling at our old plug's house. We were just, smoking. And I guess I had smoked Reggie for a very long time whenever I was younger because I didn't know there was like a difference in weed. I thought it was all just the fucking same. But it's not.
It's not.
We get high as fuck, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we should probably go home. So we're both driving in separate cars, and I'm like, holy fuck, I've never felt like this in my life. Like, is there acid in this? Oh my god. So I'm driving every car I pass by, every car that's behind me, every car that's in my vicinity is a fucking cop. I swear to God, they're not. But it feels like they're all cops. And so finally, I get home, and I'm like, not home, but I get to my homegirl's house, and I take a deep breath, I'm like, damn, we made it. We made it here. And her family had prepared like a whole family style dinner that they graciously invited me to, but they missed unfortunately because me and my homegirl had eaten a whole family style dinner before her whole family got home. We ate like you know when they cook up the pasta and we ate our body weight in pasta and all kinds of other crazy delicious things. But that was probably the most I've ever eaten too. Like, wow. What was the first time you
I was watching some anime. I don't know what anime it was, but I was watching anime, and I always watch anime with subtitles, and like sub, not dub, ever. And I was like high as hell, and the subtitles were on, and like I could completely understand what they were saying on the fucking anime. I was like, holy shit, like I can understand this language. And then I realized it was in dub.
And I was just so fucking high, I thought I could speak Japanese.
But I couldn't. And that's when I realized, maybe I should smoke less backwoods in one night. but I don't know.
Never. When was the first time you ever got like shit-faced? Shit-first?
At like age 16, I got alcohol poisoning at the beach, and I was drinking Bacardi like a motherfucker, like drinking so much Bacardi. My friend drove me back to where we were staying, and I was like on the floor, really rolling around, like my head was twisting and turning. I was like, it was the worst feeling I've ever felt, and I was not okay. And I just told her like, hey, I'm seeing the light, like I might go, I can't hold on any longer. And I fucking was drunk as hell, and then the next thing I remember, I woke up and I was like in the car with her dad, like driving down the beach highway, and I was like, and he was just like, you're gonna be fine, everything's okay, you just got a little alcohol poisoning. And I passed out. I woke up in like an RV where they were staying, and I was hungover as hell.
For me, first time I ever got shit-faced, I was also drinking Bacardi. I never had like liquor before. I never had liquor that wasn't like, you know, Deep Eddy's lemonade vodka.
That's her go-to shot for the record.
Yeah, if you're ever trying to buy me a shot of club, what is it called?
Deep Eddy's lemonade. Deep Eddy. We're not trying to promote anything, but if y'all want to sponsor us, go ahead.
Yeah, please. But yeah, so I had never had like rum and coke before, and I think I was like a sophomore in high school, and I had like 5 in like 30 minutes, and then it started getting to me. I was like, oh my god, I've never felt like this in my life. And all of a sudden I'm like, I just book it out the door and start projectile vomiting off of this girl's balcony. And then the boyfriend that I had at the time, I was so embarrassed. It was like the second time we ever hung out ever. And he was like, you know what, let's get out of here, like let's go, you know what, I'm crying, by the way, hysterically, because I'm also barfing everywhere. And he's like, I'm gonna take you to the beach. And I was like, what? There's no fucking beach in Austin, Texas, you asshole. And so this motherfucker throws me in his car, drives me under the 360 bridge. He's like, here's the beach. I'm like, no, this is water and sand, it's not a beach. Then I lost a nose ring in the sand. And then I was like, you know what, no, I gotta pee, I gotta get out of here. And nope, take me home. Take me to your house, actually, because my parents don't know I'm out. They think I'm at my friend's, sleeping over. But I started barfing in his car as well. All over the sides, all the inside. And then I get home to his house, he throws me in the shower, puts me in other clothes, tucks me in, and then that motherfucker goes back to the party. Like, back to the party, and leaves me sick as shit, drunk as fuck for the first time ever. And you know what? You know who you are. All of our friends know who you are. I seen you on 6th Street this past weekend too. Boy.
Okay. So, I want to know about your first time. I wish I had a drum set.
Insert.
That's a terrible drum roll. About your first time doing psychedelics.
Acid or mushrooms?
Okay, we're gonna start with mushrooms.
Okay, mushrooms. First time I ever took mushrooms, I was with some of my best friends. I took probably like 5 grams, and yeah, so I took those, I like grinded them up in my grinder and then threw them in my mouth and just swallowed them.
That's a real bitch.
It's really fucking weird and gross,
That's
but you know what, it went down better than it could have. And then we just kind of like chilled. It was really beautiful, really heavy shrooms, but at one point in the night I was tripping so hard. I laid in one of those big ass bean bags, you know what I'm talking about, like a love sack.
Oh.
I was like, you know what, fuck real life, I'm gonna be a coffee bean, fuck this shit. I just like laid inside it, I was like
But for life, I'm gonna be a coffee bean. That's how I feel like halfway through my semester.
Halfway through the work shift, fuck this, I'm gonna be a coffee bean. Okay.
What about acid?
First time I ever took acid, I don't even think it was like real acid. It was definitely like some research chemical, like 25I or something. But it was fucking cool because I took it with like one of my boyfriends, and we were eating cupcakes. And those blueberries are called the scary berries. But I remember specifically at one part of the night, I look into my cup of water, and then I look up, and there's like these neon bubbles with neon riffraff faces like glowing, and I'm like,
let's add some riffraff faces over here.
Yeah, over here
right now.
But it was mad weird, and then yeah, it was just like research chemical tripping. So
that's good. That's
really test out drugs. Test out drugs.
Yourself,
what about you?
apparently.
Yeah. What about you?
Okay, so
Mushrooms.
First time doing mushrooms, I was with my best friend. We were chilling with some dudes, and we were in high school. And these dudes were like trying to get at us, and like my boyfriend, who was like out of high school by that time, he gave us some shrooms, and so we took them, and then we started tripping like our balls off. And the dudes put on like Adult Swim for some reason on the fucking TV, and we started tripping.
Off air?
Like, yeah, Adult Swim, and we were young, and it was way too young for us to be doing shrooms. And they put on Adult Swim, then they started trying to fill us up and stuff, and we were tripping. We were like, no, we want to get out of this situation. And so what ended up happening is we went into the bathroom, we like looked at the walls and stuff, we were tripping, like looking at, like feeling everything, and then we got out of the bathroom, and we went to them, and we were like, can you take us home? And they were like, only if you show us your boobs. And we were like, are you serious? Like, well, we were more like, because we were on fucking shrooms. And my best friend, she was wearing like a wife beater, because that was like cute for girls at the time. She was wearing a wife beater, and she literally was like, fuck this, and she screamed and like ripped her wife beater open, like right down the fucking middle, just ripped it open. She was wearing like one of those like Victoria's Secret push-up bras that you wore in like middle school, and she was wearing one of those bras, and they were like, okay, fine, we'll take you. And so finally they took us like to where we needed to be.
I would have lost my shit real quick.
We were just like so tripped out, and then I don't really remember the first time I did acid. And I don't really remember the second time I did acid, but I remember the third time I did acid.
Okay.
And I didn't have a bad trip, but I like wanted to jump off this balcony, like a fourth floor drop, and I wanted to feel how like it would feel to fall. I don't know. And I decided not to do that, and I called my mom, and I was like, yo, Mom, I'm in San Antonio, can you come pick me up? And it was like freezing, snowing outside, and she came and picked me up.
Maddie G was on that Bandersnatch shit before Bandersnatch was Bandersnatch.
You know, but then, that's not even the weirdest part, like 3 months later, this dude went there to the same apartment, and he actually took acid and jumped off, and he broke his hip. So I don't blame it on the acid.
At least he didn't die.
I blame it on the fucking balcony. But however, the acid was from Long John Silver's.
Oh yeah, that bitch went to Long John Silver's to pick up this fucking acid.
Yeah, so probably that's where I went wrong. I'm not sure.
Alright. I mean, could have been worse. But I mean, a lot of these things started with our first boyfriend. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Goodness sake! Fuck! Okay. My first boyfriend, he was this, he was already graduated by the time like I was in high school. I was like a freshman or a sophomore or some shit. He was already graduated, and he was a cool dude. He had I don't know how to approach this, but
you want me to say? He had one eye.
Okay, hold on, let me reverse because I have a good point to make. Okay, my first boyfriend boyfriend, he cheated on me with like my homegirls, like a lot. And he was the dude that gave me the shrooms, which was like terrible. He like gave me some shrooms with some dudes and left me. He ended up becoming a soft porn star. He did soft porn, and that was like how he made money. And he lives in a yurt now. No offense to yurts. Live your best life. Just not my style.
What's yurts?
A yurt?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so a yurt is like a little teepee kind of. I don't want to sound ignorant to people that like love yurts, but it's like a little teepee kind of deal, and you can live inside of it. And it's like a big ass. I think it's a big ass teepee. You just live inside of it, and it's like a little yurt. And him and this girl from my high school who does porn too started doing this
yurt
like,
porn,
soft porn shit, and they live in a yurt. I don't know if you're watching this. Shout out. God, I don't care if you got a glass eye, a metal eye, a gold eye, a real eye. I don't discriminate. He's a porn star and he cheated on me, so I'm just like, okay, whatever. Live in your yurt.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, what about your first boyfriend?
Oh, God. Okay. So, so my first boyfriend was a little, like, not late, you know what I'm saying? Because I was not ready to commit to him. My first committed relationship was in my junior year of high school, and I met this boy, and I was like, no, this I'm really cute, or like, whatever. He was like really cute when we were younger, and then he got really ugly, but like we'll talk about that later. So yeah, he was like a lax bro, and I was I was a little goth, and he was a lax bro. We were cute for like a second until he started cheating on me with my best friend's little sister because he's disgusting. And then so he got me into a bunch of trouble, and he was awful, and I lived with that motherfucker, and it was really bad. But
you lived with him?
Yes, I did. It was really bad. The fact that we like dated twice, we like when you date somebody twice, it's never gonna fucking work out. Like when you date somebody twice.
It's never gonna fucking work out.
So
we're gonna try it again.
He's like, yeah, I'm gonna give you a second chance, bitch. Second chances don't work. So yeah, I see him quite often, and I pretend that he doesn't exist. So perfect. What about your first date? You remember your first like real date where like some real motherfucker used his real money on you?
Okay, well let me just stop you there because it wasn't a real motherfucker that took me on my first date. But he was the first dude that, the soft porn dude. He was my first date, and he took me to the movies. And I don't remember what movie we saw, but he took me to the movies. I remember like holding his hand, and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. He's out of high school, and I'm holding his hand. And we got to the movies, we were chilling, and then like we got up to the front to buy our tickets, and he was like, yo, I left my wallet at home. And I was like, okay.
How the fuck are you gonna forget your fucking wallet?
I'm like, I'm so nice. Like, I'm unforgivingly nice, and it's so bad. And I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's okay. I got you, boo. And so I paid for our tickets, and that was my fucking first date. And then, okay, so he has one eye, and like whenever he pulled up to pick me up at my house, my dad wanted to meet him because he was like way older than I was. My dad wanted to meet him, and he was like, I don't like that dude. He was staring at me funny. And I was like, Dad, that's because he has one eye. And my dad was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, what about your first date?
So like my first real date, I think I went to a Mellow Mushroom on Guad, right next to the Urban Outfitters. R.I.P. Mellow Mushroom. But yeah, my first boyfriend picked me up 4 hours late and took me to get some pizza.
Why are they always fucking up on the first date?
I mean,
first ones, first date.
They're just like a whole fuck up in general, but that's why they don't even exist anymore. But yeah, he like just picked me up and we like got pizza or whatever, and then he like drove me up to Mount Benel and like tried to smoke with me, and then I was just like,
oh, okay.
This is whatever. But then I was like, oh, this dude's like totally cool though, and then he really wasn't. So yeah, fuck that. Mostly these are pretty shit. I mean, like your first time doing everything, you're not really good at anything. Speaking of that,
speaking of not being good at anything the first time, first time fucking. I'm gonna let her answer this one.
Okay, yeah, so I was also a little late on that train too, but it's because, you know, like I grew up in a religious home. So.
She was late on the train. I mean, not late. I think you were. It should be normal.
I was 17.
It should be like, alright.
I mean, like I had a purity ring for a while, you know, like whatever. But
pretty fucking.
But I remember it was like the second time I've ever taken ecstasy, and I was with my first boyfriend, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is the night. This is the night. Oh my God. And so, after knowing me, so
I'm making him comfortable.
He comfortable. So like, yeah, we get back to his house and we like lay down and we're like, yeah, this motherfucker doesn't even eat me out. I'm like, yeah, this is not gonna work because I'm on some things. So it was super fucking painful. I was like, damn, this shit fucking hurts. Ew. And then I cried afterwards because I was very emotional. I was like, my dad would be so disappointed. And then I had to go to church the next day and sing in front of a bunch of middle schoolers, but I was still rolling, and my knees were buckling because I had just had sex for the first time.
Yay!
And I was like, I was in fucking pain, and I hadn't slept all night. It was awful, 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 awful. I mean, hey, whatever.
But I kept a journal, and my mom found that journal, and it was really awkward and hard to explain to her that this was my sex journal of my virginity. But whenever she found out, she was like, here's the different positions that you can try for your first time, and once you get like used to it, you can try some other more experimental positions. So my mom was really fucking open with me.
My mom thought the world was, I don't even think, no, like my parents didn't find out ever.
My mom did. My mom wanted to know all about my business.
They just figured as soon as I left the house I would maybe have sex, and I was like, bro, I'd be fucking out. But next question. If you have, when was the first time you ever had sex in public?
Okay. Well, the first time I need to stop petting my dog as I talk about my sexual experiences. Okay, so the first time I ever had public sex, I'm gonna light this blunt before I get into this.
Ooh.
First time I had public sex would be in a Waffle House parking lot on top of my car.
On top, not inside.
On top of my car, because me and my man at the time, we were really enthusiastic about Waffle House. I mean, you know, it's the all-star breakfast, like, come on.
I want that.
It puts you in the mood. And we just fucked on the hood of my car, on the hood of my Audi at Waffle House.
Like, I don't even think I could fuck on top of my Fiat.
My Audi was like denting in, it was like, it was not good. Well, what about you?
Let me think. First time having sex in public. Oh. What time, whatever. It was a little younger. It was like after my first boyfriend and all that kind of stuff. I like just graduated high school. But I was still living with my parents for like a little bit. I wanted to fuck this dude, and so I met him at the playground. In the middle of the night, we had sex and I had wood chips all stuck up in my ass, and I was like, wood chips are in my ass.
Have you ever had sand up your ass?
No, because I hate the beach, bro. I hate sand.
Oh, she hates the beach, letting you know. Future suitors.
I have an irrational fear of sharks, but we'll get to that in a later episode.
I want to know Stoner ex-girlfriend's first encounter with the police.
First encounter with the police, I remember I was hanging out with some of my church girlfriends. We're like, you know what? Because there's like these girls that I would hang out with these boys, that all the boys would like hang out, you know, like with them we would like go to church and like all hang out together and stuff.
Church
But we you know, like we would like have sleepovers, like all the boys would have a sleepover and all the girls would have a sleepover on the weekends. And I remember like, let's go prank the boys. So like we went and like fucking forked their yard and did all the bullshit that, you know, stick forks all up in their yard.
What? I've never heard of that.
I've never forked somebody's yard. Oh man. But yeah, so we like, you know, TP'd their fucking house and all this bullshit. And we did it and they got home when we were doing it. So we got in the car, we started driving, and I guess we'd cut this guy off in a neighborhood, and he kept following us and kept trying to fucking hit us. He kept trying to hit our car, and I'm like, you know, I got road rage, but I would never follow a bunch of girls in a car and fucking try to hit them. And eventually we hit a cul-de-sac and we couldn't get out, and all of a sudden a fuck ton of police show up, like right at that moment where we needed the police for once, you know? And so they pulled him out of his car, and he had a warrant for his arrest. He also had a weapon that was not registered to him, and it was very much so like in his cup holder. Like he's trying to shoot us because we fucking cut him off. But yeah, and then we all got citations for being out past curfew, and I thought it was the worst thing ever that I got a fucking citation.
The first encounter with the police for me was super lame. I was at the beach, and one of my homeboys fucking pointed a laser pointer at a fucking police officer's car at night. And he came over, searched our truck, he found weed in my prescription pill bottle that said my name on it, and he was just like, he handcuffed me. He was just like, so, is this yours? And we had all thrown in for it, but I was like, yeah, it's mine. You know?
Stitches get stitches.
And then, all my fucking, my brother was there, my older brother, and his friend and my boyfriend were there. Soft porn boy. He was there, and they all took off into the fucking ocean whenever the cop showed up. So he was like, is this your weed, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, can you go get your friends from the ocean? And I was like, yeah, I'll go get my fucking friends from the ocean. And so I went and grabbed them from the ocean, and they came back, and then I got handcuffed. I got like talked to by the officer. They called our parents. I was in so much, well, I was in a little bit of trouble with my parents. My parents were pretty cool about it. And then that was that, honestly, for my first encounter. It wasn't shit, like, but it was stupid as hell for the laser pointer dude. He needs to chill.
He needed to chill. I mean, like we said earlier, it could be worse. And if you know me or Maddie G, you know it has been worse. So what was the first time you ever got arrested?
Okay. My arrest story is ridiculous. Okay, this shit is ridiculous, and I'm about to tell y'all what the fuck happened. She wants the blunt. Okay, this shit is so ridiculous, and if you're watching, fuck you, by the way. Stupid shit. Stupid shit that you get arrested for.
Yeah.
Right here. So, I got arrested because I used to live with this girl. I won't say her name, even though I should. I used to live with this fucking girl. She's a girl. And she's like a little baby girl.
Little bitch baby.
Little tiny
Asshole.
little. And she had issues with me for whatever reason and wanted me to like start paying her financial troubles within our apartment. And like she wanted me to pay for her like pet fines and stuff for whatever reason. and I was like not with it. So I told the front office that I was not about that. And so she had an issue with me from that point on. And she walked down the hallway one day in our apartment, and she shoulder checked me. And so I pushed her, which I can say now legally. And I pushed her, and she walked towards the front door, and she was like, "I already filed a police report on you," and like walked out. And then like I was like, okay, she's lying. And then like 20 minutes later, a police officer knocked on the door. I get arrested. He was like, I'm here for like assault on this girl. And so I go to jail. I sit in there for like 13 hours. I'm like so pissed. She texts somebody we were with at the time, and she was like, too much. And I was like, that made me so mad. And then she wrote me an apology letter and slipped it underneath my door and told me that she was sorry and stuff. So I gave it to my lawyer, and I got like a felony charge, but it was dropped because of the apology letter. And then she recently contacted me talking about like she wanted to be my friend and stuff. And it was just some weird shit that I had gotten arrested for in my mugshot. Terrible. It is awful. I facetuned hers the other day.
It was so bad.
But, you know, whatever. Life happens, and shit happens for a reason, but that shit was ridiculous.
I mean, my first arrest story is equally as stupid. It's the dumbest thing that's ever happened.
Dumb shit when you get
But
arrested.
I mean, like, yeah, so like one night I was like, I'm gonna go to a party. And I'd taken a really big dab. I already wasn't feeling too hot. I was like feeling feverish. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a dab. You know, that solves all of my problems. Like, marijuana usually solves my problems, but it didn't. So I like was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm not going to the party. Like, I feel really sick. Take me to my car to my friends. And so my car was parked in in front of my best friend's house at the time. But I was like, okay, you know what, like, I'm gonna cool down for a second, like, I'm really hot, like, because I was feeling feverish. But, yeah, so I was, like, feeling mad feverish, and I lay down for a second, and I turned my car on, because I'm trying to cool off, you know, I got AC and shit, and, the next thing I know,
It's my dad.
I'll pick it up.
Hello? Hey, Dad. Nothing. I'm filming the podcast right now. I'm with the girls. We're literally filming right now. Do you want to say hi to everybody?
Yeah.
You're on speaker.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Who do I have here?
Kennedy and Lars.
Well, hey, guys.
Hey, you.
I'm the cool dad, I guess.
I feel that. I feel that.
He's the cool dad.
We were just talking about actually how cool we were. But, so, yeah, so I was like, you know, I'm cooling down in my car, and I guess I fell asleep, and my car's on, and the next thing I know, I'm getting ripped out of my car. I just ripped out of my car, slammed on top of the police car, and it made me do I didn't know I could refuse like a standard sobriety test. Do that. Yeah, do that. Know your rights as well. But at the time I wasn't drinking, so they thought I was drunk, asleep in my car, ready to drive, and I wasn't. But yeah, so they do that. They wouldn't let me take off my 7-inch heels when I was doing the standard sobriety test. So obviously I failed. But if they ask you to blow into a breathalyzer, fucking do it. Don't say, I don't drink, give me for something good, because then they'll have a warrant for your blood, and then you'll have to go downtown, and then you'll have to take a mug shot where you cry off all your makeup. So yeah, it was pretty awful, and my case lasted like almost 3 years. Shout out to my lawyer, you're a badass. But yeah, so I mean, it fucking sucked, and it's probably not going to be the last time I get arrested. I can just see it in my future, but it's cool. Maybe I'll get arrested for something cool. You know what I'm saying? All right. Speaking of illegal activity, a legal, not illegal, but a legal activity that you can do. What was the first time getting a tattoo like? Your first tattoo? What was it like?
I got my first tattoo on my rib cage, and it's a triangle and a rose, and I drew it myself. It's a little basic.
She edgy.
And, you know, I'm an edgy punk girl.
Edgelord.
It's whatever. It's really whatever. They're like, they say a lot of people take the rib cage softly, but I handled it.
Like my first tattoo, I mean, the first tattoo I ever got was on somebody's couch, but we don't need to talk about it. My first legal tattoo was the one on my leg, and my dad bought it for me for my 18th birthday. And my dad actually has like a photo. As soon as the needle goes into my skin, I'm just like, ow! This shit fucking hurts, bro. Like, if someone tells you that shit doesn't hurt, they're lying. But yeah, it was really fun. I hated my fucking tattoo artist. I never went back. That's why it's still just black and gray work, because I didn't even want to go back to get it colored, because I was like, you're so impersonable. But like, then I found a tattoo artist that I really like. Shout out James. You're the shit.
What was your celebrity crush?
My first celebrity crush was Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy. Thought his guy liner was like really hot. I was like super into the emo boy hair, and I was like, his pants are really tight.
What a surprise!
You know, I have a soft spot in my heart for a bass player, even though they're nothing but treble. But yeah, so I used to have like Tiger Beat posters of him hanging out next to my bed, and you know, I was like, yeah. And I remember the first time I ever saw Fall Out Boy, and I was like, he's gonna have it in person.
Okay.
I was a slut for Pete Wentz, but you know, whatever. And yours?
My first celebrity crush. Okay, well, I used to have pictures of Justin Bieber and Taylor Lautner from Twilight.
I definitely had like a Team Edward.
Yeah, a picture of like him like from Twilight, like shirt ripped off, like mid
flowing hair,
denim cutoffs. And I had a bunch of those, let me tell you. And I changed them all out for pictures of Lil Wayne, posters of Lil Wayne, like a mass amount. My parents were concerned and they were worried about me, but
Lil Wayne?
I loved him, and I named my dog after him. Dwayne Michael Carter, and my dog's name is Carter, so that's love.
The next question. It could be your family's or your own personal, but what was your first pet?
Okay, well, I've had a few house pets, but my first pet is sleeping in my lap right now. Let me pull him up to the camera. Come here. Come here. Come here. You smile for the camera. Oh, we smile for the camera. This is Carter, named after Lil Wayne, Dwayne Michael Carter, and he's 7 years old. He's my first pet and my favorite thing in the world, the love of my life. He does everything with me. He's chilling right now. He wants to go to sleep, but he wants to be here. He has FOMO.
He does have FOMO.
He wants to say, hello, hi, hi to the half-baked subscribers. Hi.
So cute. Holy shit.
What about you? First pet?
My first pet, my first adult pet, also named after a rapper, a goddess, Remy Ma. I have a really cute pit bull. She looks like honey. She's gorgeous. She's fucking crazy, but she is so sensitive to my emotions and like knows when I'm sad and knows when to bark at the door when there's creepy old guys outside. But she just recently ate my favorite makeup brush and a whole roll of blue tape, so she's been grounded. But she's really great. I'm pretty sure we can put her behind us on the screen. So.
Okay, first thing you do in the morning.
Everybody who knows me knows the first thing I do in the morning is I stumble around to wherever my purse is, rip out the cigarettes, go outside, brave the cold that's freezing, and smoke a cigarette. Alright, Maddie G, what is the first thing you do in the morning?
I wake up and I have to take my dog outside, and then I put on YouTube and I smoke a backwood. And that's my regimen. And then I brush my teeth, and then I try to get ready. I like to sleep in though, so
Sure do.
the morning is like the afternoon for me.
What was your like first gig? Like, it doesn't matter like what line of work it is, since we do more than one, but what was like, you know, your first one?
Shout out Young Mahita. Shout out to her. She put me on the show at Scratch House, and I did a little pop up there. Everybody had like these big ass picnic tables they were using, and I brought my own little like a foot by 4 feet table, and it was fucking tiny. And I had like the same shirt, just like a bunch of them all laid out, and I was so lit and so excited about it. The pictures from it are so funny. Like, I loved it though,
Yeah.
and then I still do shows at Scratch House though.
Yeah.
What about your first gig?
My first gig ever, I do like mostly like modeling stuff. My first modeling gig was for Golden Bones, which RIP Golden Bones went out of business, but shout out to Golden Bones for putting me on for the first time, because I got a lot of jobs after that, which was really fucking awesome. But it was so much fun. All of the employees there, I'm still in contact with, of course, because they're all really, really great. They're fantastic. And I got to wear clothes that I could definitely not afford, and it was really fun, and they made sure I had a really good time. They made sure I was comfortable, and those photos are still on my Instagram, and they still look amazing, and they're also on my parents' shrine of me. So yeah, my parents have a shrine of all of my modeling photos, so hanging in their house. It's pretty creepy, but kind of cool.
Okay. How about, when did you first realize you was that bitch?
Me? Oh god, what was that? Probably, I mean, I realized I was that bitch a few years ago when I was like really single, and I was like, damn, I really don't want a boyfriend. I really don't care about anybody, and I'm really trying to focus on my shit. And once I started doing that, I was doing all the shit I ever wanted to do, everything I ever planned and ever like thought about, dreaming about doing. I started doing that, and then I became really that bitch once I learned self-love.
Oh, self-love. That's a whole other episode.
You.
The first time I realized I was that bitch was whenever I started doing some shows, and then I started selling some shirts, and both of my parents, they were both like, Maddie, good job, you're doing so good, I'm so proud of you, all this shit. And then I was like, I'm that bitch, because my parents think I'm that bitch.
Do you remember the first time we ever met? Because me and Maddie G had been like in passing for a while, and I feel like me and her are both kind of like, not awkward, but like, you know, it's like we had to be introduced, because we were both like, damn, I think she's really cool, but I don't want to talk to her because I don't know her and I'm shy.
Well, the first time I ever saw her was whenever I was at Scratch House, of course, doing a show, and this bitch was in some fucking tall ass pumps and some fucking heels, and she walked over some power cables and fell. She ate shit, like right in front of
my drink in my wig.
Yeah, right in front of my table, and I was just like, damn, like, and her friend helped her up like immediately.
No, I didn't even know her. She was like, the world cannot see you like this.
Yeah, she picked her up.
Pulled me up. Like, nobody even really saw it except for Maddie.
And I remember that, and then I met her at like somebody that we associate with, and we worked for her for a little while.
Yeah.
And I met her at her house, and I was like friends with that girl originally. And then I met Ken, and I was like, oh shit, bitch, like you like me, yeah. And then
You like me.
we started going out, and like, oh, she was my wingman,
Yeah.
all this shit. She was the best, and so I think that's how we
that's how
we first met.
I remember. Yeah, I remember that. And then we shot, and then just started working together. I was like, die.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you didn't know by now, your cherry has been popped.
Cherry has been popped
By Stoner-Ex-Girlfriend.
and misunderstood.
So
Get ready for that next episode. We don't know what it is, but you gonna find out.
how about you drop it in the comments and let us know what is our next episode?
Yeah, what is
I
our
feel
next
like
episode?
a loser saying that, but for real, dude.
No, but for real, I'm curious, so please let us know.
Yeah, so. Say it for the ones in the back.
Fuck gender roles.
Should I get closer?
What are you doing?
Oh, is it focused?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
I was like, bitch, what are you doing?
oh,